Don't bring that into the theater. No, it is our job to bring it into the theater. Out there, we don't always have permission to show what we feel or say what we want to say.
Neato. You go to high school?
Yeah. Panthers.
So that's another episode, Prime Shooting. Leave any questions in the comments.
I'm actually going to be committing more time to my show, the technical side of weapons.
I think it's a nice thing you're doing, Adam.
Thank you, ma'am. Yeah, I think you're right.
Krista, what is it?
Some jealousy and rage.
Overreact? Would you consider lightening an overreaction?
Where'd you find this kid?
It's out of the street.
Neato, baby.
Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah, this is crazy. We've got like everything you'd want or not want.
Adam, you're always in here with the door closed, and we never get to see you.
What are you carrying me?
Whoa, dude. Go.
So I guess we're not having any fun today, huh?
Yeah. Damn, I just walked up with it. Need like 4 or 5 digits. Damn, if I got it, I spend it. Pull up in the all black Civic, nigga. Ooh, that's my team. We got that juice, got that ball. Yeah, that's your girl been hanging like a noose. Hold on.
Peace, ready to act. Peace, ready to act. Peace, ready to act. Peace, ready to act. Peace, ready to act.
There we go. How are you? Nice to meet you.
Great. Yeah, man. Me too. I'm feeling good. Feeling great. Feeling like it's good to get this movie finally out, man. It felt like such a bizarre thing to just have and show to some people and then put it back on the shelf for a while, you know?
Yeah.
So
was it at Sundance in 2020?
Yep, 2020.
Okay, that's why.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I don't know how this thing's playing out, buddy. So let's just see what happens.
Yeah. So, but no, it's been feeling really good. I was in Phoenix last week, sharing the movie with a live audience. It was lovely.
Do you know this gentleman here, Will?
Oh, such a great background.
Yeah, Will's in the band with Gwen Stefani. Yeah,
apparently.
Hey, I'm the drummer.
No doubt.
For,
yeah, no doubt.
Whatever group she's in. Sorry, let me change my background here.
There's a whole generation, of course, who knows her from reality singing contests, but
that's right. It's funny. I listened to driving back from Phoenix last week. One of the albums I listened to was Tragic Kingdom. I really like that. Just sometimes those like early '90s albums come up to me, like the Beastie Boys or like Green Day, Dookie,
yes.
They just work like as a full album, you know. So it's funny. I just had like a nice moment with young Gwen Stefani. Good tracks on that record for sure.
Well, it was on the cusp of the download phenomenon. These guys were
right. Yeah, they
generating albums that were
all that. Yeah,
that were marketed as albums, as well as, of course, singles. But then, you know, at a certain point, I guess around the turn of the millennium, that all gave way to singles again.
Yeah,
like in the old days.
I know. Well, the art of the album. It might come back at some point, huh?
Sure. I'm all for that.
Hey, Adam, how's it going? I'm Will.
Nice to meet you, Will.
Nice to meet you. Sorry, I'm
not
at a party disheveled.
Oh, so you've got the proper green screen. I've been debating about, but I have kind of a nice room here right now. But you never know.
Will's living the actor life, you know. You want to
that's my
simple,
right.
That's that
because you have to do self tapes and all that kind of thing.
Yeah, all the time. You know, in fact, I have one today. I have to do. So.
Can't you just say see Beast and there's your self tape?
Yeah, right. Geico, just watch
my whole reel.
Yeah. So.
Geico.
Yeah, it's a Geico commercial that I have to look at. It's a Geico and Shark Week kind of combined commercial that I have to do today.
That's today's work. Yeah.
Yeah. So, always something crazy and wacky and different, every week.
Yeah.
So,
Adam, I don't know if you know, well, obviously Will's character's name is Adam. So
yes, I do.
Our other friend Adam read the script early on, and he's given us notes, and he goes, "Great script. Terrible name for your gun guy. I don't agree with that. It was pretty fun."
Right.
But we filmed that movie in our childhood home, the
I know, in Georgia. Yeah.
Okay, so you've done your homework.
Well, other than seeing the film, I didn't bother with that, but
yeah.
You don't have to.
You don't need to watch it. It's over long. 85 minutes is way too long for a movie. You know what I mean? Well, I get that question a lot, actually. So I joke, but I actually do get that question from a lot of people when I meet them. They'll be like, "Did you get to see the film?" And I'm like, "Wow, I'm really working against the odds." There's a low bar for some of these things out there. So
yeah, I understand.
I did do the other side of that. I did a podcast with these guys who said, we saw the short and we watched the trailer, and they said, but for our listeners of this podcast, they haven't seen the movie yet. So like part of this is like convince us to see. And I was like, okay, that was a specific take on how their podcast works. And I was like, all right.
Are you saying they didn't see it on purpose because their listeners hadn't seen it?
I think that was the idea, so that they were asking questions like, hey, how does
seems like justification for laziness. But I don't know these guys, and I don't want to criticize people. For all I know,
maybe I got bamboozled. Maybe they got me.
Well, when I started doing this, and I didn't do it. It was internet. It wasn't even a podcast at the beginning. It was an internet radio, and I was doing it out of this startup internet radio company. I was part of the first, and the producers. They said I should do the show because I had a film series and it was a way to promote it. But of course, very quickly I saw, I can just talk about anybody. But they said early on, they said, really, you should know the answer to your questions.
Huh. Yeah.
And I kind of just said, well, leave me alone.
Yeah.
But it came to respecting their advice and their criticism.
Yeah.
It's true. Right. I mean, I don't know every answer, obviously, but I do usually. I try to be as prepared as I can be.
Right, because then you're like, you're getting a certain quality of answer, I guess, in that way,
And you can ask questions that, you can ask. I mean, first of all, you can still be an advocate or for your listeners, or I was trying to think of the right term, not necessarily an advocate, but when you're representing your So but you can also go for, if you think about it, you can go for more unique questions. And I think we're being joined by Shirley.
What's up, Shirley?
Shirley.
Hi.
Hello, welcome.
Thank
you. Feeling okay, Shirley? You all right?
Do I look disheveled?
You look like you have 3 days left in your semester at college. That's
yeah. I squeezed in a quick nap before this in my last class.
Yeah.
What year are you in, Shirley?
I'm a junior.
Congratulations. So you're going to be going into your senior year of college in September in person.
Yeah.
Where is that? Can you say where that is, or is that not a good thing to say in public? I don't know.
I go to Harvard University, so.
Not familiar with it. It sounds good, but. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, that's the one in Boston. I remember.
Oh, I've heard of that one. Yeah.
They say Boston. I know it's Cambridge because I lived there for a long time.
But they say Boston.
People say, where'd you go to school? And I would say, well, Harvard. And they would go, yeah. I said, not that one, but I went to Boston University.
Oh, no way. That's my alma mater as well.
Oh, really?
Got my.
There you go.
Yeah, but yeah, I was in the College of Fine Arts, CFA over there.
Well, yeah. I didn't even graduate from there, so you're way ahead of me.
Yeah. Adam, I was kind of listening through some of your older interviews and stuff and listening, and I was like, oof, I definitely feel like we are in a big chair here. You've had some pretty amazing guests over the years, man.
Well, you know, thank you. I mean, I look at it as a blend of you know, really like seasoned people I you know, been following, and along with newer and emerging filmmakers that, and I try to
like you had Destin Daniel Cretton on there and Brie Larson on an episode in 2013, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. Like
I know I was barely podcasting then, and I didn't that was a good example when I really didn't know what I was doing that much, but I was actually supposed to talk to Destin, and Brie was just happened to be nearby, and she wasn't. It wasn't planned that she was going to be on the show.
Cool.
And but who knew? You know, I mean, I knew she was talented as hell because of this little drama indie. But like you know, one day when Shirley, you know, she won't do the podcast anymore.
Right. Well, yeah, we'll scroll down like, oh my God, 2021, they had Shirley Chen on there.
Exactly right.
With those two bum brothers that she made a movie
Weirdos.
with. Those two weirdos. Yeah.
Well, Shirley, you were you were already in college. Maybe not. Wait, let me step back. There was a short version of this. Did Shirley play Krista in the short?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was maybe made while you were still in high school. Is it possible?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
I was it was the summer of my junior year that we shot Krista. And then we shot Beast the next summer. So it was after I'd finished my senior year of high school and was about to go to college. And yeah, Danny actually drove me to the airport and sent me off to college. Right after.
Really? That's amazing. Wow.
Shirley, bye. Like all your bags. Because we wrapped the day before, and we of course everyone stays up all night. We kind of like we are going into like our weekend, which was sort of our halfway point of the shoot, and so we stayed up all night. And then come like 9 in the morning, 9:30, everyone's starting to nod out because we filmed all day, all week, and everyone's going to sleep. And I'm like, cool. And I'm like, I got to drive Shirley to the airport in like 2.5 hours. So I was like, I might have taken like a nap. I might have been like, this is dangerous, but I'm going to take a 45-minute nap and then I'll drive you there. But no, it was really fun. But yeah, we filmed Krista, the short film, at a high school here in Los Angeles where Shirley was attending. So we did an open casting call in their drama department, and Shirley came in, and it was like, there you go. And then kind of.
Okay. But you shot the feature Beast in Georgia, where you guys grew up. Okay.
Yeah.
And so, okay, now Krista had to go on location.
Yeah.
Or rather, Shirley had to go on location.
Yeah, not like all in the studio like Krista was,
Well,
so then Will and Shirley and Jose, the three leads, each had their own room in Mom and Dad's house for the duration of filming. So Mom and Dad were their hosts. They're good.
Will, did you get your old bedroom, or did you?
I got Danny's old bedroom, which was the set piece for Adam and my character's room. So we had guns on the wall. I was kind of forced to be a method actor, living in the room of Adam for the summer. So, but I think Jose was in my room. There he is.
Yeah. What's up, Jose?
But it was great being down the hall from Mom and Dad, wrecking their house, making a movie. It was great.
Yeah. We can give away some of the story, but we don't want to give away too much of it either, because we want to urge people to see it. So wait, can I just ask, and welcome, Jose. It's nice to meet you.
Hi, nice to meet you, Adam.
Adam, I know. We were talking about that.
Adam plays himself in this one. A question about this short before we just focus entirely on the feature.
Sure.
And that is, was it intended to be a feature, or did you just? So, Danny, did you just
sort of broken bits of a failed feature that I tried to write like a year or two before, which was
Right.
all about this kind of like high school drama club. And like there were some other things. They would like sneak out to this island and do performances on this island. It was kind of based on like things that I would do in high school. We would like row this boat out to this island on Lake Peachtree. Anyway, that we just paired it with, I love that idea of sort of like using someone else's hands to choke yourself. That was something that Will would always do as a kid. You were like way too young to understand this kind of a joke. You were like probably 5 or 6, but he would take my hands and choke himself. And I couldn't get my hands away. And he would like make his face turn blue and he'd be like, Mom, Danny's choking me. Ah! And then, so I just always thought that was like a really fun idea that Will did. I was like, oh, well, let's flip that and have this be this actual like catharsis thing for this character.
Born to be an actor. Clearly you
Right.
kind of, there was...
Want to be a liar of sorts.
Yeah, born to be an asshole, and then it makes sense to be an actor. I guess
Get to the top, yeah.
Well, okay, so it's clear. I got both of the story. I mean, I kind of understand how Will was cast. He had
choking abilities.
Ability.
I've been watching this
which
kid
she taught to
since
Shirley.
I've had my eyes on this kid since '91. All right. Yeah.
Jose, explain how you ended up playing Nito. Is it Nito? Is that?
Yeah, Nito. Short
Nito?
for Nito.
Nito.
Right.
So pretty much, I got involved with the movie through Sean Wells, the color corrector, who introduced me to Danny.
Mutual friend. Yeah.
Yeah, Sean Wells just pretty much hooked it up.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, well, then we met and we became buds, and it was like we put Jose on camera. And we're like, okay, he can act. He's not only just like a, kind of parkour and skateboard, brilliant mind. It's like you can bring the acting skills too. And so a few months later, I started writing the screenplay, and I kind of wrote the 3 stories to all come together. So
yeah,
wrote for these 3 folks.
Well, Nito is a really exceptional skateboarder, among other things. So, how long, Jose, were you he probably just taught himself like a few weeks before the shoot, but he's such committed.
Yeah, sure.
Will brings the bona fides, but it turns out Jose is really
days before, I think 3 or 4 days he started learning.
Fast learner, Jose. Yeah.
No.
You exited the womb on a skateboard, I'm guessing.
maybe like 10 years after the womb.
10 years post womb. Yeah.
Maybe 10 years after the womb.
And where did you grow up? Were you in Georgia or were you, no, you
Actually, I grew up from South City, like South San Francisco, which is like close to San Francisco. Just south of San Francisco.
Yeah. It's the South San. That's where it is.
Yeah.
But that's how we met. So Sean Wells is Oakland based. He does post production there, and so I've kind of like always liked to go and do post production, do sound and color up in the Bay, and so that's where he was working with Jose on a different project. So I got to see the real, of some compilation of his tricks. So basically it's the scene in the movie where the girls are watching his stuff and like, who is this guy?
Right.
I had that moment in real life. So.
Yeah, it was, you did moves that you normally catch. And I've seen a lot of films over the years, movies where, the skateboarders are a big part of them. And you always see them falling and tripping over trying to do stunts, but you actually were achieving these things. That was what was so refreshing about it. My goodness, we just had
it was important for us, like just as far as like a texture of this movie. It was like, what can we do? We're making a movie for like a super small amount of money, but we want it to feel like a full cinematic experience. So it's like, what can we have that a normal, like even a big budget movie like has trouble doing? And it's that kind of authentic texture, right? And like, Shirley needs to be convincingly a high school theater student. We can do that,
Yes,
Will needs to be authentically, a firearms, like fluent in the ways of firearms and wanting to do that.
Explain,
and then
Will is like a YouTuber, a video,
right?
His
exactly.
own channel, his own blog.
Come off. And then with Jose, it's like, bringing him in with his sort of innate abilities and pairing that with this kind of new world of like cinema, like dramatic acting. But I was like, but what we get to do is in the same shot, we can have a performance happening, and then he pushes off and we just pan down and he lands a kickflip, and then we tilt back up and there's his face and we're back in the scene again, you know? So it's not like, that was something that I thought was kind of like special, and let's take advantage of those things, you know, in this film, to just like have it, you don't cut from like a nice actor face to some like unidentified feet doing a nice trick and then cut back to an actor, you know? So yeah, I'd like to kind of like keep it all contained like that.
Was the I guess how did you guys talk about the darker side of the story? Like, you know, because there is also this, you know, besides Will plays somebody who's, you know, into firearms, has an emotional let's see, I will say, how would you say, is somewhat conflicted, I guess, is struggling with some internal conflicts, let's say, and you know, maybe a darker side, I don't know. But anyway, the other guys are on this other trajectory where, you know, I want to make sure I get the character names. Or Krista and Nito are meeting and falling for each other in it's just a very lovely and natural way. It's very, you know, it's lovely to watch that, you know.
Yeah.
They really create some very believable chemistry there. Well, chemistry is there or it's not there, but they created a very believable relationship there. It's nice to watch. Was the darker side something you guys talked about at length beforehand, though? Talk about that.
I think something with this is like, I mean, with Krista's journey being sort of the backbone of this,
right?
We wanted it to be this idea of like what it means to be young and innocent and naive about the world, you know. And then as you grow older, these things start happening. Oh, things like events at a party happen, and then like other things in life, and you realize that like, oh yeah, justice is not a clean thing, and the world really has these fangs that you didn't anticipate, you know.
Yeah, your violent incident. I don't know if we want to really say that, but I think it's implicit. But you doesn't take. It's not like some school shooter. There, it's very plainly. It's much easier, you know. You know, but the way you set it up in your story, it's a little bit more blurry.
Yeah, we wanted to talk. We didn't want to talk about it in this like polarizing, overarching, macro political,
didactic kind of way. Yeah,
to be nuanced about it. This is a very particular instance, and this is not trying to like, you know, completely contain all of the political discourse about what guns mean in America. You know, this is one person, one incident. You know, and talk about the humanity, the rippling effects of that, or even how the sort of setting that brings this kind of tragedy about. You know, this is not a mass shooter. This is not some like freak, you know, who's like apart from society, just brooding and like wanting to go out and like do some despicable act. You know, that wasn't what we're trying to tackle here. You know, and I like the idea of like, and all these guys have heard me talk about this book ad nauseum, but Tortilla Flat is a huge influence on me. The
Steinbeck novella.
Yeah, and it's because what you do is you learn about this place and this time with these characters who are, everything they do is morally ambiguous, but you love everything they do. You know, you just have so much like fun with them, or you're endeared to them, or you feel bad for them, or, you know, it's all of these things of like pity and camaraderie and some character sense of adventure, and you just like want to be with these characters. So that was a big kind of inspiration point for me, and that's what I was like hoping to achieve with this movie.
Well, like Shirley, what did you think of the final? I mean, obviously I know you're going to compliment the movie, but
yeah, they always trained you to say about the movie.
How do you talk about it? How do you talk about the movie when you're, you know, and how does your family and friends feel about your being in this movie? Because it's like there is a couple of very difficult things to watch you go through in that film.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't really told most of my friends in depth about what happens in the movie. I actually kept my boyfriend has been staying with me, and I told him like, you're paying for that movie. I'm not giving you a free screener. Like you're gonna watch it with everyone else when it comes out on streaming. In terms of how my family have responded, so it was actually really nice that they were able to, my mom, my brother, and my dad were all able to go to Sundance when the movie premiered. And for them, just kind of seeing how it's evolved and constantly supporting me. My dad lives in Georgia, and so he was able to go see the movie in person.
Wow.
That was his third time. So he had seen it first at Sundance. His second time was at a drive-in showing in Georgia over the summer, and this was his first, in-person screening. And he called me and he was like, he said, every time I watch that movie, it makes me love you more. And he was like, you're so talented. And I'd never heard him say anything like that before. And so,
Really?
yeah. I mean, my dad's not a super expressive person. Yeah, I love him. I mean, he shows his love in so many ways, and he says I love you and stuff like that. But that was something that was really tender, because acting is hard. It's a huge sacrifice. Especially, I started acting when I was 10, and I moved down here with my mom when I was 13. So it's a family concern kind of, and so I don't think my parents are too traumatized by what happens in the movie. More so, they're just happy to kind of see me, doing what I love and getting a space with such an amazing team of people to finally get to do that. So that's been nice. Yeah.
Yeah, I love hearing that. That's really beautiful. That's nice.
What about you, Jose?
Yeah, Jose, tell us about it.
What was that experience? What was the experience like for you, and what is it like? Looking back at that, you have a particular scene. Well, we won't go into details about it because we don't want to give away too much.
Mm-hmm.
But you have a fairly dramatic moment, to say the least, in the film, and I'm wondering how that was for you as an actor. And then, what do people, what are your friends or family? How did they respond to the film?
Usually because of that dramatic scene, it's kind of like, oh, that was sad. Like, that was sad. But it's like it's acting, it's like
Do you want to talk about how we prepped that? I mean, we definitely did a lot, just you and I kind of going and film test runs of all that kind of stuff too.
Yeah, there was a lot of rehearsal for that.
Yeah.
And we practiced on the lawn outside of the farm we filmed at.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, there was a lot of mental preparation. It was just really thinking about it. And sometimes I just look in the mirror, kind of like the character Krista, and just kind of get over the lines like that. That was pretty real. Going over lines and getting ready to perform.
Yeah, it's great. Something I find myself talking about is people talk about, oh, what was it like working with the different actors and stuff. And I was like, yeah, I mean, you guys all had such different levels of experience. And I feel like I spoke with you guys in all different ways, but I was like, but the more I think about it, the common through thread is all of you guys are you guys are like me. We all try way too hard at everything we do. You know what I mean? And I was like, the whole 110%, thing applies to all three of us, and I think that's what it is or all three of you guys. And I think that's something that I really relate to. And you guys don't nobody wants to move on until we all feel great about what happened, and I think that's something regardless of your experience level or, what the lines are, whatever, it's until we really feel that we don't move on, which is a challenge in an 18-day schedule, but
18 days. Yeah.
Yeah. But that's something that I see in every scene of the movie. Whenever I, watch it, I'm like, yes, everyone's really pushing themselves all the way.
Well, yeah, Jose, I mean, there's scenes where you're very, very tender with Shirley's character. That look, I mean, it was a moving to watch you kind of fall for her. And if I didn't, I would have assumed you were a seasoned actor.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
Having
Well,
to
can you be? Sorry, go ahead. You can respond to that.
Oh yeah, I was just saying like it's just like having good coworkers really that made it super easy. So
Say that again?
What was that?
Yeah, you traveled.
having really good coworkers,
Good.
having really good coworkers really helped the process.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you guys again, like you guys put so much into it, and it's like that's all of this is just a product of like.
Dad, I gotta pick up my mom.
You gotta go pick up your mom.
Yeah. Is it cool to bring? Is it okay if this like on iPhone or something?
You know, you can if you need to go. We got some good material, Jose.
Okay.
You've just endeared yourself all the more that you're going to help your mother.
Yeah, this is
Talk about virtue. Talk about virtue signaling. That's just. Oh, I gotta go and mother and drive her to.
I gotta go adopt a few kittens. And, yeah, save. Yeah.
Bye, guys. Will.
Bye, Jose.
Bye, Jose.
Say hi to Mama.
Say hi to Mom.
All right. Happy Monday.
Later. Yeah.
Now we can trash him.
Jose's mom was an actress back in the Philippines.
Oh.
So this was definitely something that was very special for him in that way to really like step in to an acting role and I think his dad worked in film as well. In the film.
Producer.
So I think it was like very special for Jose to kind of like do that. I think his parents are like super proud.
Yeah. Well, tell me about being directed by your brother. Is it can you be? Can you be?
No, I couldn't be. I said, don't talk to me. Leave me alone. Well, yeah, it felt extremely collaborative, and it was mostly less talk and more rock. It was like we can kind of like talk through things, or we can just do a couple more takes, and then usually things will get solved and everyone's sort of a little happier if you just do more takes. I think that's a solution for most problems that I've seen and encountered working in film. It's like, yeah, you can come and have a conversation, or you can just try it differently, a little more this, a little less that, and you'll probably get what you need. So I think it was a lot of sort of just like just kind of fleshing things out without getting too heady and sort of linguistic about it. That's kind of how we've always worked, I think. And
part of why that's possible is because I know that the amount of work that Will does in the research and all. Will's like a deep sea diver. He's gonna explore every little crevice of the cave if you send him down there. You know what I mean? So I just know that if we keep iterating takes, he's gonna be shining that light in different dark corners of what this character is possible or what this character is capable of. And I think so I think that's where I don't feel like I need to communicate as much with Will, because I know he'll like keep exploring new terrain.
You're part of you're of the school, right, Will, where you do a lot of advanced work, like where you got your hands on guns and.
Sure. Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I just like to do that stuff. It's like a part of why I do it is to investigate the world and do, the quote unquote research. Just like living in that is what I like. That's what feels fun. That's what I want to do for 3 months leading up to it. But I also think it just gives you the confidence and sort of the authority to like play and make choices. So I love to sort of get really down and nitty gritty. Some people work differently, but that's just how I like to do it. And I think my work is better when I do. So it's like I just do what I need to do as well. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's where I definitely come from.
Well, the name of the film is called Beast, directed by Danny Madden, and it's currently available in select theaters, they say.
Correct.
Around the country.
There is a selection. Yeah. And then May 4th.
They're very select.
On demand for everyone.
It's going to be on demand on May 4th. It's going to also be, if you're in LA, it's going to be premiering in LA also on the 30th.
At Lamley North Hollywood, April 30th, and should run for about a week after that.
Great. And how did Alec Baldwin come aboard? How did that?
Yeah,
he's an executive producer.
Right. So Alec and his producing partner Casey Bader had seen Krista, the short film.
Oh, okay.
Vimeo staff pick premiere, and so it was on, whatever however it does the rounds in that way.
Well,
In
maybe
case,
it was at the Hamptons International Film Festival. That might have been.
Well, no, this is before that, because this was earlier in the year. Hamptons is a fall festival.
Right.
And the movie came out in March, and then it was a month or two after that Casey reached out and said, "Hey, Alec and I really loved the movie," which was a fun thing to call Shirley, or to tell Shirley in person. I said, "Hey, Alec Baldwin watched the movie last week and he thinks your performance is great." She was like, "What?" That is so weird. And but yeah, it was a general, and they just said, "Hey, we really like the voice, like the cinema language of the short film, and we're interested in developing something with you if you ever have a feature." And I said, "Well, we're gearing up. We got to shoot this feature before Shirley goes to college this summer. So jump on board if you want to jump on board." And they did. They read the script and they really responded to it. And
that's the correct response when somebody offers that. You don't say, I'll get back to you someday.
Right.
That's
you usually jump on a moving train, as they say,
Exactly. Well, and I'm big fans of Matt Milner and Jim Cummings and the whole gang.
Yeah, Matt Miller and Ben Wiesner, he was sort of our lead producer. He was carrying most of the weight down in Georgia and sleeping least of all of us. And he also was a producer on Thunder Road as well. And so he's really doing great things in the indie sphere.
And I have theater. Okay. Right. People can go to Vanishing. We'll put the links and everything.
Cool.
We'll make sure people can find the film and know where it's at and know how to see it on streaming, etc. But I thank everybody and for showing up and doing this with me. It's really nice to get behind a film like Beast. Why'd you leave off the last Beast though? Because I was thinking it should be called Beast. Yeah, it's just my
right. It really lets you know it's a triptych, as opposed to It's less about the duality of people. It's more about the three dimensionality. It's a 3-panel mirror that Krista has, huh? So there you go.
Good response.
Thanks so much, Adam. We appreciate you taking the time with us, and
I wish Shirley much luck with your last year at Harvard and with your burgeoning career. I'm sure I'll see you a lot more in the coming months and years. And this was great. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Adam. Thanks, Adam.
Okay, now let's start in earnest. I'm going to hit record.
Let's do it.
It's such a nightmare that I'm terrified. I'm just
I know.
No
All right, Cheryl, you can get back to your important things in life right now, your study. Bye, Cheryl.